I think all of the candidates wanted to win. They all wanted the same job that I wanted. I understand that, and so you do what you think is the right way to gain a victory. We're not going to change our style. We're going to talk about the issues. We're going to focus on what we need to change in Washington, D.C. We're going to talk about South Dakota common sense, the way we do things here versus the way they do things in Washington. But last night it was very, very gratifying when Larry Roden called and just said, look, we're with you all the way. We're going to help everywhere we can. Dr. Bosworth had called and just said, look, I'll help wherever I can. And Jason Ravnsborg called and said, I'm with you. I'll do whatever I can. I want to start right away. We'll do everything we can to build because we have to win in November. That's what a lot of our supporters from day one have said. We have to win in November. There's no question about it. We have to send a Republican to work with John Thune, and if we want to retire Harry Reid as the majority leader, we've got to start now, and we have to be one of those 6 seats in Washington that are changing from Democrat to Republican. So we're going to focus once again on those issues that people in South Dakota feel very strongly about. We're going to repeal and we're going to replace Obamacare with a market-driven plan. That takes a majority of Republicans in the United States Senate. We're going to actually work on a true energy policy and not one that costs literally $1,700 per family per year in new taxes, which the president has proposed and which liberals in Washington seem to think is a great idea. We disagree. We think we've got to be able to promote and create more energy opportunities, and government shouldn't be making those decisions. We've got to take back our country from the bureaucrats. I agree with Senator Rand Paul's proposal. It's called the REINS Act, and that's one where we stop bureaucrats from literally making rules on their own and then on their own volition putting them into law without anything from Congress being able to stop them. We have to get a hold of our own country's bureaucracy. Did you know that the bureaucracy in the United States government, the federal bureaucracy, if it was a country of its own, it would be the 10th largest economy in the world? Just the federal bureaucracy. That's too much. It's time to take our country back. We start by cleaning up the bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. We've got a number of things people in South Dakota truly do feel strong about it. The other thing that I talked about, and I'm serious about this, I think it's time we take a look at whether or not we need a federal Department of Education. I don't think we do. I think we should repeal it. We can still do the pass-throughs. We can still bring the dollars in when block grants and so forth for states and for local educational units. But we don't need the bureaucracy that goes with 5,000 bureaucrats at an average salary of $102,000 apiece. That's got to stop.
I know campaign-wise, it was certainly a big win last night. You've got to be awfully happy with your team on the ground.
We are. Once again, 3,000 volunteers across South Dakota offering to help. But we had a great central team. We had teams that were literally making phone calls for the last couple of days in Sioux Falls and in Pierre and in Rapid City. This is a lot of young people associating with folks that have done it before, and so we had the enthusiasm of young folks who literally have eaten a ton of pizza. And at the same time, we had older folks that said, look, this is the way you get her done, but the new systems we've got work. We can make the phone calls. We don't bother people once they've voted, but we know in advance those who have voted, so we don't bother them with calls. We refocus on the people that might have forgotten and just do our best to get the word out that every single vote counts. And you can't do it without a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of people helping out. So great victory, but one that would not have happened if it wasn't for a lot of people in South Dakota that were helping.